Your eyes do not deceive you. That is a BRP iRacing series logo. This is Dirt Racing, and this is Pit Stop TV. Go ahead and pinch yourself if you need to. We are back. BRP iRacing series is back for yet another season. Joe Donahue with me in the booth, as per always, or at least as always as we can make it. Emerson Arden holding down our social media. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and welcome back. The brand new BRP iRacing Series season. This time, back with the big block modifieds. You've been seeing the teaser thrown throughout our broadcasts for weeks, months on end now, and it is finally here. Joe Donahue, this is Media Day, something we've never done before, but a great opportunity to meet all of the brand new faces populating the virtual garage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be back. Love coming out with the BRP guys. And like you said, we've got a bunch of new names we get to talk to. We get to see those cars and get ourselves accustomed to them a little bit before we get to race one. But we also get to check in with all of our frequenting drivers. Everybody's been racing over the summer. There's a lot of great things we can talk about from real-world experience from some of our drivers this summer, and also talk about what their expectations are for yet another season here in the virtual platform of iRacing. It's going to be great to talk to all of those guys, get the insights, get some sights on those cars and those schemes we're going to be needing to get used to this season. And just in general, just happy to be here, man. I'm just happy to be here.
See that we are at the dirt track at Charlotte, and it's an interesting little dirt track as well. It's 4/10 of a mile, checking in just under a half mile, so a little bit shorter than Eldora and some other places like it, but of course longer than those 3/8 that you get so used to. It's wide, it's fast, a lot of racing room. The 4:10 sprint car record here set by Jeff Shepard in 2001, an 11.880. The super late model lap record, at least for World of Outlaws, the 14.305 that was set, of course, by Kyle Larson last year in the 2020 World of Outlaws World Finals. The World of Outlaws World Finals are coming up this weekend. We've got a whole lot going on at the dirt track in Charlotte, and in fact, I'll be there, not tomorrow, but Wednesday evening for the PRN preview to World Finals. That'll be held on pitrow.tv for free. That's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, Lenny Baticki will be holding the show down there. A whole lot is coming up for this racetrack. It's only fitting that we hold Media Day here at the dirt track at Charlotte, at least visually. These guys are getting their big block mods tuned up, getting laps down, and you can see the track is already getting pretty worn in.
Yeah, and that's going to be part of this season. We'll talk more about that throughout the show here, but that's going to be something these guys need to get reacclimated to a little bit. You know, whether you've been off the sim or you just haven't been in that big block, been in the real world or whatever, this is a great opportunity for everybody to come out and feel out these new updates that have been put into the iRacing platform since some of them may have had the chance to get on their sim rigs. And just getting used to that is going to help everybody have a little bit better playing field, a little bit more equal when they go to race one. But they're getting up on it, and Charlotte's a great place to do that. Charlotte does work in very nicely here on the platform, and it should be able to give these guys a really good insight for a lot of the different tracks and the way they're going to work into the season.
Yeah, Charlotte's a good place to open things up. Again, a lot of race room. These guys can widen the track out a little bit, learn how these cars are going to maybe react with the new tire updates. I love that you bring that up. iRacing is always working on the sim and everything on the sim. Always rolling out new updates to who knows what, and in this case, a lot of tire updates lately to the various dirt cars in the sim, sprint cars, late models, street stocks, legends, in this case, big block modified. So a lot of updates have been rolled out throughout the course of the summer. A lot is a little bit different, I would say. A lot is a little different. Last time we had BRP action, and I'm just so glad we got dirt cars. We've got, of course, dirt flying through the air, and we've got a lot of great stories to talk about, a lot of great drivers to talk about. We've been talking to a lot of them throughout the night. That's kind of what this opportunity is, an opportunity to talk with a lot of the stars that drive the cars in the BRP iRacing series, talk with all of your kinds of different favorite drivers, and kind of learn a little bit about what to expect for the rest of 2021. Again, Joe Donahue joining me on the mic, Emerson Arden over on social media coverage. A lot going on, a lot to keep up with. Let's first talk about practice times. Now, this session will technically be held in a practice session followed by a qualifying session, only so that the track can be reset. That may mess with some times later on if they get into each other or get into the wall, but for right now, and get ready, Joe, this is going to be a big change. Something we've not done for the BRP iRacing series yet. Wait for it. Look at that. red number blocks. We've got the letters with the numbers. It's very easy now to identify which driver is which on our ticker. Boy, that is a big change.
Yeah, and that's going to be really helpful and just generally cool for us to be able to keep track of everybody and those numbers, those letters, all that good jazz. It's going to get those names up on the board that we'll be hopefully able to give out to everybody and get accustomed to for this season. But hey, you know, big changes all around. It's a great time to be here.
Oh yeah, there's a lot changing, and in the best of ways, we got cars really taking a beating there on the front stretch. Looking out the back stretch, you can see it is during the day, so the track is drying out a lot quicker. On top of cars, of course, going around the racetrack, pulling the moisture out. You can see that, yeah, the sun is baking down upon the dirt and, upon the clay, I suppose. We're in the Carolinas, baking down upon the clay and taking some of the moisture out. So maybe a little bit of a dry track. We should see these guys slick this thing off, maybe lock it out here in a little bit. But we've got people to talk to, places to. I think that's the order it goes in here, Joe. But of course, we want to lead things off with, I think, a couple of guys that make the most sense. And one of those being Corby Daniels, other being Matt DeWitter. We'll try both here. It is a bit of a struggle to bring these guys in on the fly, not gonna lie, but there we go. For the Daniels, we've got Matt DeWitter. And let's go ahead and bring them in, see if we got them, Joe.
All right, I think we got him. Matt, Corby, you both here? You both hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, there we go. Two guys who did a lot of work to get this season ready. Now, obviously, we're a lot of work going out on the track right now, but just in general, you know, BRP Media Day, it's the big opener. It's getting everybody ready to go for another season of racing in these big block modifieds.
Absolutely. I'm pumped that it's here, ready to get this thing going.
Now, what sort of preparations have you guys done? You know, we've talked here on the broadcast already a little bit about the new updates on the sim, and obviously everybody's out in the real world doing some racing all around the country in big blocks and other forms of racing. But how do you prepare yourselves to bring back these big blocks after a season of late models and adjust your schedule, your driving, and your drivers to be able to compete again?
Yeah, so, I mean, in our off season, basically, we just take some time to have meetings, talk about what we want to change, what we thought was good, what we thought was maybe could use some improvement from the last seasons. So basically, our format is we have an open registration, and then we take in 60 guys, and we have 2 tryout races, and then we take the top 40 guys that we believe are going to put on the best show week in and week out. And those are our 40 guys that we select to race every week. This year was no different. We had to turn a ton of people away. The series actually grew a ton in the off season, gained a lot of attention. So it was hard to make decisions on who to keep and who not. But I think we got a really good group of guys. I know Matt and me occasionally, but I think Matt definitely did a lot more behind the scenes for me this off season, which I'm grateful for. But basically, he got all my technical stuff together as far as spreadsheets and budgeting stuff and working on all that behind the scenes. And I was out just trying to gain some sponsorship, get some new people in, get people interested in the series. And we definitely did. We got a couple of good new sponsors, Creative Turning and Lindy. And then we also have a couple of one race sponsors, which will get announced later on. But it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we've been working a lot on the social media side, just growing with posts and overall quality of everything, and we just want to put the best foot forward and make sure that we're projecting ourselves as legit as we want to be.
Oh, for sure. And we've seen that with the BRP iRacing series, and even to you, Matt, with MDR Designs, that has been something that has had accelerated growth lately, and surely with a new season ready to go, some new changing and dynamic things going on week by week with the series, that's going to accelerate even quicker. We talk about, you know, these changes, these new drivers. One of the big changes that I think is an interesting talking point is the format of these races. So there's the season, which the schedule we'll talk about here in a little bit, but the races that we're going to be running are going to model more or less what a modified would be used to, what a modified team would be used to. Maybe talk about what was your thought process in implementing longer features and trying to make a more maybe real-world, realistic series for these guys. Was that a challenge? Was that a draw for new people? And what was just the process of thinking that through?
So basically, our idea was, we couldn't really model the Super Dirt Car Series schedule, which is what the main series for these cars, just because each one of those races is 100 laps, and there was no way we were going to get guys to do 100 laps every Monday. So we kind of based it off track size per race. So the smaller tracks we decided to do 100 laps at, which I think there's 3 of them. And then Pete Costco was 117 because Pete's number was 17. But then the other tracks, I kind of just based it off track size and how many laps I thought would put on a good show. And we had meetings with everybody about it and kind of just made a mutual decision on the laps for the season. I felt like it definitely worked good in our late model season, having 40 lap features. But it kind of sometimes feels a little too short, so that's why we kind of wanted to add in a couple extra laps on some of these races.
Well, I think that's certainly going to be an exciting thing. It's going to be very different, and I think that's also going to play into sort of what we're seeing right now with this practice session here for Media Day, is those tracks are going to work in a lot more, and it's going to hopefully make for some really great racing with this field of drivers, and just in general make a great product for everybody who's watching and everybody who's racing. That's really what keeps the series together. But even on top of that, like I said, new season, new cars, and there's been a lot of off-season stuff, or rather off-season from the virtual BRP iRacing series. Maybe you guys can kind of expand on what else has gone on in your lives and maybe how that's going to play into this next season of the BRP iRacing series. But I know the both of you have done a lot of individual work in this off-season. Maybe you talk about a little bit what you did, what you learned, and what maybe would implement into this coming season with these big blocks.
So off-season for me was kind of just, racing around locally with my team. Couldn't really go to the States that much just because of COVID, but I did get over for Super Dirt Week, and I'm going for Charlotte this week again. But other than that, it was pretty much, I just kind of wanted to reformat the league a little bit during the off season, so I worked on that. I brought on Matt as like a co-league director with me, as well as Hunter, who couldn't be here tonight, but Hunter also did a bunch of work for me in the off season. So the 3 of us kind of just put our heads down and came up with ideas, bounced them off each other, bounced them off the other admins in the league, and came up with what we got for this season, which I think is going to produce some great racing, and it's going to be a great points championship battle. I think we have a lot of top guys that I think are going to be up there battling for the championship, so it's going to be a good show, that's for sure.
Yeah, not to mention some of the guys we've had register for this season are up there matching guys we had from last season, and it's just going to be a overall good show with new faces up at the top, and see how it plays out throughout the season.
Yeah, so these names, I mean, I recognize some of these names, I'm sure viewers and elsewhere drivers could identify some of these people who are coming in for this new season, and we want to let you guys get back to them and enjoy this session and get to talking with all of those guys too. But we also want to see, you mentioned some people new people coming on for this season. Who else obviously is helping with the season, and are there any drivers that need recognition for any of their efforts, and other people who just made it possible to bring back these big blocks and bring back the BRP iRacing series again here?
For sure, I gotta thank all my admins that have been with me since day one on this deal. Tyler Petrelski, Travis Miller, Ryan Susi, don't want to forget anybody, but yeah, Dylan Davidson, all the guys that started out with me in the beginning, even Matt and Hunter were relatively at the beginning. They came in only after we ran our first inaugural season. So everybody's been around for a long time. But I definitely want to thank Joe Matthews, Jam Performance. He's been around since the second season of this league starting, and he's sponsored every season since then, and run every season. So big shout out to Joe on that. I gotta thank Matt, MDR Designs. He's killing it with everybody's paints, and working on the series at the same time. Some days I don't know how he does it, but he gets it done. So.
I wish I could tell you.
So we got obviously BRP returning. We got 2 new main series sponsors, Creative Turnings, which is Tanner Carrera's dad. We want to welcome them aboard, and also we have Lindy Gas, which is Mike Winter. He works there, and he wanted to support the series, so we're grateful for them coming on board and being a series sponsor.
And guys, I want to ask something back, and great that we just touched on some of the sponsors, on these sponsors on this season. Specifically, Corby, as a series, as an entity, I guess, getting ready to go back racing for the fall and into the winter, how much do each of those singular sponsorships mean? How much does that go towards putting the whole season together? It's a lot of working parts. It's a lot of gears in the machine. How much do each one of those mean? And if more want to get involved, where can they go?
Yeah, for sure. The sponsors are huge. We can't do this deal without them. We have different sponsor opportunities. We have single race sponsorship. We have series sponsorship. We have series title sponsorship, if anybody was interested in that. All different price points, but we appreciate anything anybody wants to give to the series. It all goes towards paying the top 5 out for the championship for this season, which has gone up a little bit. So this season's actually going to pay $200 to win, as compared to $100 last year. So it goes into that. It goes into helping put these amazing broadcasts on with you guys. It goes into this season. We're gonna have third-party dedicated race control. So it goes into helping pay for that. Goes in help pay for sessions and all the little stuff that we do. We do little points, little prizes, like we're gonna do a best appearing car for the throwback race. Just things like that. But if anybody's watching that want to get involved, feel free to message the series page. We can send you over the info on sponsorship, or even if you want to personally message me or Matt, that's fine too. We can get you the information for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, sponsors are huge, and we appreciate all the support and the added support we've gotten, and it's stuff like that helps us raise the points payouts, and even single race sponsorships, so you can do single race payouts, and just a lot more for our drivers and the broadcast itself, just getting new names on board. So.
And Matt, as somebody who is more specifically making a lot of these wheels, obviously not to downplay anything that Corby does, but you are doing a lot. You of course bring MDR Designs to the table, and that involves all of the social branding, all of the league branding, a lot of the paint schemes on the track, including Corby's. How hectic is it getting ready for this brand new season? And go ahead and tell everybody a bit more about MDR Designs.
Yeah, it's definitely ramped up quite a bit. Trying to balance MDR Designs, the league, school, and it's a lot going on. But if I'm not busy, I'm not happy. So it's pretty well for me. But it's been great getting a lot of the new guys on board, new paints out, especially with this throwback race. It's been cool to take a walk through history pretty much and look at some of the old cars that are coming out, and it's just trying to elevate the virtual scene, I guess, and make these leagues stand out graphically, and just have everything look better and be professional when doing it. I think it's a big step in the right direction, and if that's something that MDR Designs can do, then we're gonna do it. So, can't thank Beef enough for having me on here. You know, it's a good platform, and I can't thank him enough for letting me help. And it's been fun stepping up and running this show with him.
Just taking some looks here through the field at a lot of the paints, some that Matt has done, some that are kind of just joining the field. There's a lot of great looking cars out there, guys. I'm very, very excited here for season number 2 of specifically big blocks. I think this is 3 or 4 now that we've covered. It's stacking up, and honestly, it's hard to remember them all, but so glad that we're back for another season of dirt racing. Cannot wait to get things going, and starting things off with Media Day just kind of feels right. Guys, we'll let you get back to it, though, saying, back up. See, even I'm a little bit rusty. Got to get those, those gears turning again. Thank you so much for the time. We'll let you get back out there, and let's enjoy Media Day.
No problem.
Thanks, guys.
Boys.
That's Corby Daniels and Matt DeRitter. A lot of their time for the week talking with us for an extended period of time. Really, really do appreciate those guys for talking to us here for a little while. Joe, we've been watching a lot of cars go around the racetrack, and this here would be the number 84 of Michael Hackett, 84H technically, and he's on the track. And we have cars going around. This is cool. This is race cars. This is dirt. It's what we've been waiting for.
Yes, this is objectively cool. This is objectively dirt cars. Michael Hackett has some experience with the BRP iRacing series. We saw him race modifieds a good minute ago, but he's back again. He drove the 84 car before, and it's if you remember all the way back, he did have the orange and purple on that machine. And here he is. He's rolling around Charlotte right now. He's got cars coming out of the pit lane. That's Steve Meitzler right in front of him. But it's nice to get reacclimated to those drivers too. You got guys like Scott Fritz, who maybe you see that name at the top of the board. You see cars spinning on the track here. You've got new names up there like Scott Fritz. You've got Jamie Porter, who we know darn well. We know Travis Miller pretty well. Hackett as well. He's been around before. It's nice to get reacclimated to all those guys, even down to Adam Hilton there, Corby, the Beef Daniels, just talking to him, and down from those guys who fought for championships to guys who have taken some time off from the series and are coming back to get in these modifieds again.
Really cool watching these guys get back up to speed and all the different brand new paint schemes that are on the track. There's a lot of great ones out here, a lot of eye candy to look at, and this is one of those throwbacks for Corby Daniels. We will see this next week at Lernerville for their kind of throwback race. We'll see a lot more out there, so glad to see Corby getting back out there, getting some laps down. I'm sure we'll see Matt DeRitter get back out there. This is a pretty cool looking paint scheme. Let's talk about this real quick before we go to break, and we can get a good angle on it anyways. Well, that'll have to do for right now, I suppose. That's pretty good looking. I'm not sure if that's his throwback or not, but regardless, I think that's a pretty solid one. Oh, look at that!
Oh yeah, that thing is just glowing. That is a gorgeous car. And Matt does good work. He's a hard-working guy who puts a lot of effort. He makes sure his product is 110%. You can see it in that car right there. That design, I mean, just wow, that's eye-catching. And there are a lot of really great eye-catching cars in this field. Some, we've gotten used to. Others we're getting some time. But there he goes. He's going to pull that out on the track now. Yeah, don't break it. Don't wreck it. Looks too good.
Like that number 30 right there behind him is another one of his. The number font at least looks similar, so I dare say that it is a car that he's done. But we've got a lot of time to look at a lot of cars. There is Brett Fisher in the. Well, he's going to be scored as number 3, it looks like, this evening, but in the number 30, as you can tell on that race car. That's a good-looking car as well. And yeah, I do believe that is another piece of Matt's work yet. You can see the MDR Designs logo right behind the right front tire. So another piece of Matt DeRitter's work. A lot of great paints out here to look at. A lot of fantastic looking cars for the BRP iRacing series. We are going to throw to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. So much more Media Day action on the way. If you're out there on Facebook especially, let us know who you want us to talk to. Let us know who you want to hear from. We've got an hour left. We've got a lot of drivers to talk to.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the virtual dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Fantastic dirt track, fantastic dirt cars, piloted by some fantastic dirt drivers. It's media day for the BRP iRacing series. Do you want to mention I saw Garrett Zacharias chiming in. He'll be driving the number 71 this season. He's out there on Facebook watching along, mentioning that he couldn't run tonight. Maybe came down with a little bit of a bug, but hopefully he's doing all right by next week, and I'm sure he will be. Very much looking forward, actually, to having Garrett Zacharias join the field, a name that I know from the iRacing dirt side. Very excited to get Garrett Zacharias in a new level of competition, I think, in this field. Very, very excited, personally, to get him in. A lot of cars out here, 23 to be exact. Let's take a look again at the practice times here, Joe. You can see Scott Fritz leading the way by a little under a tenth over Jamie Porter, Travis Miller in third, Michael Hackett in fourth, Adam Hilton checking in fifth. All the way down, you can see all your favorite drivers throughout the 23 that have shown so far. Joe, I know we've got a lot of drivers to talk to. We're going to hand things right off to you. Who you got first?
Yeah, I'm just going to take a shot in the dark right here. We're going to see if we can get one of those drivers who's been pretty solid in some past seasons. We're going to try to see if we can talk to him. Ryan Susi, we got you here on Pit Stop TV. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, Ryan. Well, it's media day. It's opening day, practice day. How do you feel? Are you excited to get back in behind the virtual seat again? Are you ready to go for another season of big block modifieds on iRacing?
Yeah, I actually haven't done much with this since last year when outdoor or actual real racing started. So it's kind of nice to get back here and just get in the chat room with the guys and kind of get back into the swing of things. The practice is definitely important. It's one thing that I definitely know I need a lot more of right now. Some of the guys who've been on it, like Jamie and Travis, who've got a lot more experience than me, are quite a bit faster, it seems, especially at this point in the track, track state. But it's a cool deal. Glad to be a part of it, and I just got to thank Beef and all the guys at BRP iRacing Series and Matt DeRitter, MDR Design, for the sweet new ride for 2021.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on a lot of really great points right there. You know, you talk about the practice, getting back behind the wheel. You talk about your summer, and we would love to hear more about your summer too. You mentioned, you know, getting back acclimated to the track and getting used to the seat again. And it's a great deal to have iRacing that when it gets cold outside and we can't go to the dirt tracks, we can at least get behind the wheel virtually and have some fun. But you had some stuff going on this summer. I mean, I saw you had at least one win this summer you posted about online, but talk us through, you know, your actual racing this summer and this season and how that went for you, what you've learned, and how you felt about your 2021.
Yeah, we actually had a pretty good season. You know, statistically, got a couple wins and a whole bunch of top fives. We ran weekly at Rantsville Speedway, and then normally on Saturdays we'd run at Merrittville Speedway, but with, you know, COVID and the border being shut down, we kind of had to do a little traveling, and I got hooked up with a gentleman by the name of Patrick Hoops from down in the Woodhall area, and he had a car, and we went down and run Woodhall a few times and Outlaw and did some short track Super Series stuff. So locally at Ransomville, our own 38 car sponsored by Young Drivers and Transport Sales and Service. We won 2 races there and finished third in points. We were right in the hunt until the last night, actually mathematically in it on the last night. So that's kind of all you can ask for. You know, just got beat by two guys that are, you know, the best in the business, and Eric Rudolph and Matt Williamson. So you know, didn't have a bad year at all. You know, nothing to hang our heads at. The only real downside was the last one. We went to Port Royal there at the 200. And ended up getting Ryan Watt drove over the top of me when I got in the fence. So you know, that kind of sucked. And you know, the other guy that was in that wreck was actually Brett Haas, and one of our buddies here on the BRP series. So crappy ending to the season, but I mean, all things considered, you know, we put in 30 something races, and I think that was one of maybe 2 DNFs, and the other one was the engine that blew up. So it was a pretty good season.
Yeah, and not tearing too much stuff up over the course of the season is a good way to go. And, you know, like you mentioned, you go into all these racetracks, I'm sure that's a pretty big deal for you just to be able to travel, and especially, you know, from everything we went through in 2020, you know, to get a little bit closer back to normal, it's definitely going to help you. And you mentioned you have a family car, so I'm under the impression you're going to know your way around these machines pretty well. Does that help you at all virtually, or does it give you at least confidence when you come back to the sim here in the wintertime? Like, how does that real world translate into this virtual stuff that you can be as good as you have been in this BRP iRacing series in the past? One of those names that we watch week in, week out for top 3s and victories. Is that part of your game, or you think you just have that little spark of an extra little bit of talent hidden in there somewhere?
Yeah, like the actual real world experience, I don't know how much it really means. I mean, most of these guys that run the sim, you know, they put in probably 5 or 6 nights a week, and they really practice at it. I think that's way more important than actual real world experience. If it was you know, open setup, then, you know, maybe the setup stuff might help a little bit, but even that, a lot of the setups in the sim here aren't super accurate in terms of, you know, what makes the car do what. So you know, having experience just kind of, you know, around traffic and understanding who to race with and when to go and stuff, that real world experience kind of might play into that. But in terms of the racetrack and the guys that can go fast, it doesn't really, I don't think, too much matter if you have any real world experience, because I mean, there's a whole mixed bag of guys in here. You know, young kids that have never raced nothing to, you know, the older guys who've never raced, and a bunch of guys in between who have a lot of laps. And the guys with a lot of laps in real cars generally aren't the fast ones in the sim. So it's just kind of, obviously experience, like I said, in traffic and that stuff might kind of help a little bit, but other than that, I don't think it's too much.
No, hey, at least if there's a little bit of a mental gain for you there, you bring that in. Obviously, you know, the real world's the real cheese, but this is something cool to be able to do in the off season, and being able to bring that confidence and knowledge, at least for being around other people, is going to help you out. And so, you know, with that, you guys get to start a new season. You got all these new people that you're going to be working with this season. Who do you have to kind of shout out, and who's going to help you get the best you can, get the most you can out of this upcoming big block season?
Like I said earlier, just huge thanks to Beef and Matt, Hunter, and all the guys that we raced with here at the BRP series, and you guys for the broadcast. Matt did a car for me this year that kind of somewhat resembles my new car, or my newest car, and then also kind of his own design. So it's neat to have MDR Designs back in the series and helping Beef out a lot. So and to be honest with you, in terms of like thanking guys, just all the guys we raced against, I have a blast on Monday nights. It's cool to get home from work after a long day and plug the computer on and just unwind and just kind of have fun with the boys. So it's a cool deal, and I really look forward to it every week.
Absolutely, having some fun with the boys. Hit it right on the head right there, Ryan. We'll let you get back to your boys and have some fun out here for this practice on Media Day. Thank you for your time here, and we'll be surely talking to you again here as the season goes on. Good luck, and we'll be talking to you there.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
There you go, and that is Ryan Susi, driver the number 38. He is going to be one of those guys we watch throughout the season. Andrew, I'm sure you got another guy that we're going to be watching throughout the season here. I'll hand the mic off to you, my friend.
That I do, and it's somebody that is a good ways up there on the practice chart so far. He's even in the car right now, and he's getting turned around. Jamie Porter, do you have a copy?
I do, I gotcha.
Well, Jamie Porter, you are quite a ways up there on the practice charts. Now, granted, those times were set a while ago, but still, even as this track is getting locked out at this point, I think, with 46 minutes left, the 45 looking pretty good. Are you ready for another season?
Yeah, we're always ready to race with this group of guys. They're some of the best around here, so every week that you can come out and compete with these guys is definitely fun for sure.
And it's good to have all you guys back. It's really good to be back here for more dirt racing. It's been a while at this point. It's been most of, if not the entire summer. I think the last race was early July. So good to have you guys back around. Is there anything maybe that's changed in the real world, in life for you?
Not really. Just kind of been trying to linger around iRacing a little bit to keep the skills sharp. Been doing a couple other leagues with Beef Esports. So trying to come out on top next week is be a good opener for us.
Next week at Lernerville, how do you play those cards? I mean, it's, of course, Lernerville, no wall around half of the racetrack, if not more. I think 3/4 of the racetrack or so. You've only got that wall in the front stretch. Do you maybe kind of give somebody a hip check, put them into the board, so to speak?
I mean, it's 117 laps, but if it comes down to it, got to do what you got to do at some point.
Yeah, only 117 laps. That's 117 opportunities, about what, 15, 17 seconds or so to try and pass somebody and race with these guys. And there's a lot of new faces. How do you race with some of these guys?
So we had a couple tryout races, so kind of seeing how most of them drive. We're all kind of around the same level, which is good. It means, like, I don't know, you don't have to give anybody too much room. You know that they're going to hold their line and stuff, so that's always a good feeling. But yeah, most of the guys in here, well, it's some of the best racing around, so you know how they're going to run mostly.
Okay, fair enough. We got one more question for you as Joe gets ready to bring in his next driver. Who is making it happen for you? I see Evergreen still on the car. Of course, you've been doing things with Beef Esports. Of course, MDR Designs designing the car. Anybody new, anybody that you want to highlight here helping the 45 car effort?
Yeah, so I picked up a new sponsor just about last week. It's St. Catharines Marina. That's my girlfriend's dad's marina. So I'd like to thank him. He tends to help me out a decent amount now. So thanks to him for sure.
Well, does that mean we're going to see a sailboat for a race car here soon?
I mean, if Lernerville gets to it, might have to, yeah.
All right. I want to see a boat car at least once this season, all right?
We'll get it done for you.
All right. That's Jamie Porter, the number 45, second in practice so far here from Media Day. Buddy, get back to it.
Thank you.
Telling him to get back to it, Joe. He never stopped getting after it. You can see him. He's been doing laps the entire time. Another driver standing by. Joe Donahue's got him ready. It's Tanner Correa.
Oh, yeah, and I'm excited to talk to this one. All right, Tanner, this is Joe Donahue with Pit Stop TV. You got a copy?
Yes.
All right, Tanner, well, happy Media Day. It's a pleasure to have you back. How was your off-season, and are you ready to go for another run with these big blocks here on iRacing?
Yeah, it was a pretty good off-season. I didn't get on the sim as much as I wanted to, but, you know, things happen. And after my first season with BRP, I think we're looking good in the right direction.
Yeah, and that is definitely a talking point for you, is you came off of last season, your first go, and had a lot of really solid results that I think turned a lot of heads in this series. There are names that we know, and there are names that we learn. And last season we learned Tanner Correa's name. How do you bring that forward? How are you going to get that momentum back under the seat belts? And how are you going to get at it for another run in the BRP series now with the big block as opposed to the late model?
I think it's more just like keep my nose clean and putting in the practice. I mean, I know the schedule. I know what I need to do. It's just whether I can figure out how to run the slick. I feel like that's my biggest problem. But as soon as I figure that out, I think I'll be up there a lot more. After coming off a podium the last race of last season, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that with the slick and those longer races this season, so you're going to have to work with that a little bit more. But as you go to Lernerville and, for the rest of the season, is that your game plan, is to stay consistent? I mean, that was a really great move for you in your first run, and that confidence should be able to help you. But what are you thinking when you look at the races of the schedule, especially Lernerville next week? Are you prepared? Do you think you're ready with that lesser lack of time on the sim lately, or you feel like you're going to be able to jump right back in?
I think I'm going to do pretty well. One of our trial races was at Lernerville, and it's definitely a learning curve coming from late models. But I think I should be good as long as I don't fall off the track.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely the big thing at Lernerville, and we'll be excited to see you there with that. And then we'll give you a second here. Obviously, we talked about some of your partners, and we want to give you center stage to shout them out. Who's helping you get that number 11 car, hopefully into victory lane this season, and helping you just in general get this car underneath you?
I think I got to thank MDR Designs. Matt always comes up with some really good paints for me. Creative Turnings especially. My father, he decided to sponsor the league this season. He does a lot for me, and I can't thank him any more than I possibly could. And then Beef, he does a really good job running this league, and I'm just excited to have some fun.
Absolutely, we're excited to have you back, excited to see you out on track. You're getting a good amount of practice in tonight, and we'll hope you see you get enough practice in to give us a good show at Lernerville next time. We'll hopefully be talking to you again there.
All right, thank you. I hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah, you too. And we'll see him get that car put back on 4 wheels. I'll hand it back to Andrew, who might be able to see if we can talk to a couple more guys. And you mentioned to me, Andrew, offhand, that there were a lot of laps turned for practice for Tanner Correa right there.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned he's getting a lot of practice in. He's on lap 196 once he goes back out there. 196. That's incredible. And he finished that interview upside down. How about that for Tanner Correa, the number 11? Plenty more drivers to speak with. We'll go right back towards the top of the boards, I suppose. The number 22 car, Travis Miller, somebody that we know is oh so fast here in the BRP iRacing series and everywhere that we've ever seen him race. Hey, Travis, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Boy, it's been a while since I've heard that voice. We're all the way into November now. November 1st, Halloween yesterday, so I guess happy Halloween, happy media day. Hey, we're getting down to it. This is winter time. Things slow down in the real world, but hey, to pick right back up on iRacing, how you feeling about it?
Pretty good. I mean, I didn't get to race that much this summer, just with real racing going on. Had a couple of real life cars we had to work on all year, but it was we basically just started racing just to race with these guys in the BRP series. So it's nice to finally be back with all these guys. It's a bunch of familiar faces, and it's always good racing.
I gotta ask, we see the track is real rubbered in. It's almost getting locked out at this point. How does it feel?
It's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of ruts and like especially at the top and like right beside the wall. If you hit it right, it's really fast, but it's really treacherous. Like it just hops your car and it almost flops into the outside wall. So it's gonna especially be an issue at Lernerville next week because 117 laps. I don't think it matters where you start the track at. It's definitely gonna be rough. So just like this practice session is really good if you want to get used to a slick track. Try some different lines, race with a couple of guys, see how they're driving in it, and make a couple notes for next week.
There you go. Notes, the big thing. I was just going to ask, how does this translate maybe to the rest of the long races this season? Of course, Lernerville next week is relatively similar, I'd say, to Charlotte, except it's just missing a wall around most of the racetrack. So is there anything specifically you carry over from Charlotte to Lernerville?
Yeah, I guess just being smooth. That not having a wall there and being able to fall off the banking is definitely going to be an issue. I think if you can survive 117 laps without throwing her off the end, I think that's a win. I don't know if a lot of guys are going to be able to do that, and I'm one of those guys. It's real tough to hit your marks exact same every single lap, but you got to just go out there and be as smooth as you can be, and hopefully you'll be there at the end.
You are currently on lap 190. Santa Maria, he's getting pretty close to he just actually eclipsed 200. Is there any kind of limit, do you think? When do you get tired? Especially you're talking to us while driving.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get tired. It's just really fun. I mean, you just kind of go out and, you get wrecked, get another car. I mean, at the beginning of the night, I wasn't really running that much. I'd run like maybe 10 laps, take a break, and, talk to some of the guys in the Discord and go from there. But it's just to be really good in iRacing, you gotta make a bunch of laps. So I mean, if you got the time to do it, we're talking to you guys and we're having fun with the boys in the Discord. So I mean, if you got the time to run the laps, might as well run them, right?
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you so much for the time. We'll let you get back after it. 37 minutes and some change to go. Go ahead and go up there and see if you can knock that time down on this slick racetrack, eh?
Sounds good, boys. Thanks.
All right, Travis Miller wrapping up that one and looking pretty quick. Pretty quick. Third place right now in practice. That 22 is relatively dialed in. Looking forward to seeing what he can do this season. He's won the championship before in other race cars. He's won championships before in other race cars, other leagues. I'm really excited to see what the 22 car can do this time around. That said, Joe Donahue, he's got another one.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a hold of David DiPietro. David, this is Joe Donahue with Pit Stop TV. Do you got me?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, it's good to hear your voice, my man. It's good to be back on the sim. I know you've had a pretty good time this past year on the off-season, or at least the off-season of iRacing, but tell us how you're feeling. You've had a good summer, and how did your real-world experiences go this summer, and how do you feel getting back behind the simulator?
The real world was great, man. Got 2 wins at Ransomville in the sportsman class. Ran some STSS stuff, which I've never done before, so that was pretty cool. Got married. Yeah, having a good time, living life.
Yeah, you living life to the fullest right here. You got a lot going on in 2021, but here we are back on the sim, and it starts getting cold out. You can't get to your dirt tracks and do things outside that we all love to do, but you're here with everybody on the BRP iRacing series and testing here, just getting reacclimated to the sim. You feel ready to get back into things at full steam? You feel like you're going to have that 68 car in good shape to go for Lernerville next week with everybody?
Yeah, it's great to be back, man. I never get a chance to play it during the summer, but it's always fun to come on with the boys. I know most of the guys in here. I work with some of them, and I just know a lot through racing. So it's just go out and have a good time. I don't have the track time a lot of these guys have, but it's still fun to come out and compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, and you don't necessarily need it once you get back into the swing of things with everybody here. There's such a good field of drivers and a caring group of people too. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who are willing to help you out and get you sort of reacclimated to the game and reacclimated to the simulator.
Oh, absolutely, man. Everyone in here is awesome. Great group of guys. I love racing with all of them. A lot of fun. I'm not as good with the heavy track, but when it slicks off, I can usually keep up pretty good. So come feature time, we're at least up to speed. It's just the time trials I tend to struggle.
Well, you're going to have plenty of time this season with the length of these races getting extended a bit. You're going to have some time with those slick tracks to hopefully be able to move that car forward. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and you look at that, you look forward to, say, Lernerville next week, and just in general, what sort of goals do you set for yourself now? What are you looking to get out of this season with BRP?
Do that. For starters, no, I just like to come out, try and run top 10 if possible, not wreck anybody. And the Costco Memorial is cool because, I know Jordan and Dylan in real life. I've raced against them for years, so it's just cool to come out and support that event. I can't go support the real life one anymore because I can't cross the border like I used to, but it's still cool to be able to support that event because they're buddies of mine. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's really great stuff, and it's just good to get back with everybody, and it's good to have you back. And we're excited to see what you have in store for us, and we're hoping that you're going to have some good results. We'll get to talk to you again more as the season goes on. So,
hope so. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck with that, and we'll be hopefully talking to you again soon in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. and that is Dave. And yeah, like I said, a pretty good outlook, but I'll hand it back to Andrew. He's got another guy who's going to have a pretty good outlook on the season. I think someone who's going to be very excited. I'll hand it back.
Yeah, somebody that we talked a lot about last season, actually, Dean Meitzler, who ran a couple of great throwbacks, and I think has kind of spurred something on here. We've got an official throwback race now next week at Lernerville. Dean Meitzler, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great now that we finally get to bring you on, talk to you a little bit. Got BRP iRacing Series Media Day this evening after all. It's good to see all you guys back on the racetrack and get to talk to you guys.
Oh, yeah. Exciting to be back on the track and with all these guys racing.
Now, of course, I've been seeing some of your stuff out there on social media. You've been in the iRacing groups on Facebook, working on all these paint schemes. How many paint schemes you got for us this season? Some cool ones, I'd imagine?
Right now, running a new one this year, kind of turned away from the Coors Light. It's still on the car, but a little bit smaller. The two sponsors on the car now are actually more of a local ones around the area. Got a special one for next week and possibly a couple more throughout the season.
And of course, you get to debut these paint schemes around a lot of new faces, a lot of familiar faces, but a lot of new ones as well. How do you try and work with that? How do you try and take that in stride and keep rolling and do your best out there?
Trying to really concentrate a lot more on throttle control. It definitely was something I battled last. Just learning the cars and getting used to basically adjusting to different track conditions and stuff. So that's kind of like where my focus is more on this year, and really wanted to at least try and get a podium finish this year.
Well, I'd say throttle control is probably exactly what you need right now with the racetrack as it is. I asked Travis how it's feeling. How's it feeling to you?
Oh, no grip.
Yeah, you guys have this thing locked down. Now, Lernerville next week, 117 laps to open the season. Do you think this is going to maybe give you some notes on how to race next week?
Oh, yeah. Lernerville's a tricky track with not having the walls on the outside. Definitely one that I think is really key for throttle control to make sure you don't fly off that track.
Well, buddy, you got that pole last season at Knoxville. Where do you think you get the pole this season? I mean, we got to keep that up. At least one pole, if not more.
Oh, definitely. I'd like to do Knoxville again, and one that I really enjoyed doing too is Eldora, so I'd like to try and get a pole there and possibly even a top 3 finish.
All right, well, looking forward to your throwbacks this season. Looking forward to see how you do in qualifying, and of course the race as well. We got to see you up there. Now, you got a heat race win, I believe, right towards the end of the season. So I think the world is certainly looking up for Dean Meitzler here in the BRP iRacing Series, and I'm very excited to see what you can do this time around. Buddy, thanks so much for your time. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you. We look forward to having these guys televise the races.
Absolutely. It's always a treat. That's Dean Meitzler, the number 49, getting up to speed this evening and getting out there, getting some laps in. He's actually on lap number 160. So these guys are getting up there. Dylan Davidson now might be, I think he's second in laps turned. No, I think he's third, actually, because Travis Miller is up into the 200s now. Tanner Correa, he's up to 220, incredibly. I mean, these guys are turning a lot of laps. You see all the fantastic partners of the BRP iRacing Series, Bicknell Racing Products, of course, the namesake of the BRP iRacing Series. Matt DeRitter Designs, making a lot of these guys look good going fast. Jam Performance, Lindy, and Creative Turnings. Now, I gotta be honest here, Joe. Lindy is going to be an interesting one for me to get used to. One of my best friends, and he works with us here on Pit Stop TV, Zach Lindgren. We call him Lindy. There's another Zach in the friend groups. We call him Lindy. Lindgren, Lindy. It's going to be interesting for me to get used to this season.
Hey, there's a little bit of a parallel, and it's enough to get it a little bit worked together in there in your head a little bit. But it's just nice to have new people coming on board and have new names to talk about when you talk about the partners of the BRP iRacing Series. I mean, there's so much support for this series. I mean, they bring out too many drivers, right? They bring out so many drivers. They bring out so many sponsors and partners and people and teams and designers and commentators and all of this jazz. I mean, there's just a ton of people who love to be a part of this series, love to see it, love to race it. And, it's such a great series to be a part of. Why wouldn't you want to throw your name on as part of a partner of the series? But they do it all for fun, but they do a great job of producing some really great content. And that's one of the really big draws to be a part of it here and to talk about it is like, it's so easy to have a good broadcast and have a good conversation about the racing on track with these guys. They just do such a good job, and all around the board. I mean, from on track to off track, BRP iRacing series, they are on the upper echelon of series, especially on dirt in this simulator.
You said commentators. My brain went to Dylan Davidson there. Unfortunately, we caught him as he crashed, but hey, hopefully Dylan Davidson gets some more good quality laps out here and gets going for the race season coming up this fall and winter. I think I cut short of mentioning creative turnings there, so big shout out goes out to creative turnings as well. We're going to take a step aside. Don't go anywhere. We've got so much more Media Day conversation on the way here from the dirt track at Charlotte on Pit Stop TV.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back to the virtual dirt track at Charlotte. This is BRP iRacing Series Media Day on Pit Stop TV. So many great people, great cars, great drivers making this season happen. We're trying to talk to as many of them as we can. We're checking in what you're saying over on YouTube and Facebook especially, listening to maybe who you guys want to talk to. So without further ado, we've got one of those requests out there in the Facebook chat. Joe Donahue has him alongside.
Yeah, so we're going to bring him in here. We got Michael Hackett. Michael, this is Joe Donahue with Pit Stop TV. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Joe. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good for us, Michael. I'm sure it's going great for you, too. Had a good time in your off-season, I hope, and ready to get back at it with the BRP iRacing series here on iRacing.
Yeah, it's very excited. This is a good group and a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So bring us up to speed on yourself. You know, we hadn't seen as much of you in late time, but we're ready to see that 84 back out on track. How was your year 2021, and how do you feel now coming into the winter months? It's getting cold out. It's getting time to just kind of buckle down with a cup of hot cocoa and steering wheel for your computer. But how did your year go, and how do you feel going into this season?
It went pretty well. I actually don't race or really go to races much. I try to get out to a couple a year. So I've actually been on periodically still throughout the year iRacing, and ever since these big blocks came out, I've been addicted to them, so I've gotten a lot better. Hopefully I can show that, but we'll see.
Well, hey, you know, some of these guys, they have cars, and some of us don't, and it's just, you know, it's timing, it's life, and it happens, but it's good to have you here, and it's good to hear that you're acclimated to these cars, and we're hoping to be able to see you bring that to everybody. Now, like I said, you're back on the block. You know, you had some time that you weren't with as regularly with these guys, but they're back with the big blocks again, and obviously that's the big draw here. So sort of how do you feel getting back into the seat and getting out on track, going wheel to wheel, door to door with everybody once again after a little bit of time off, and especially with the off season for the series?
This is a good group, like I said before. It's fun racing. This year they're actually, I don't know if anyone said anything, but they're taking the mirrors away. It's kind of a gentleman's rule, so we have to turn them off ourselves, so it makes it more realistic. And the couple races we did, it actually worked out better because you're actually way more careful than mirror driving kind of thing, you know?
That is something that we had not heard here on the broadcast, so that is actually really interesting, and that is going to be valuable to know going through this season. And it seems like it, obviously, like you said, I think it helped out, and that's just a really great piece of information to hear a driver say, and sort of how that changes your perspective and your racing. You're feeling in the track, you know, and like we're seeing on the screen, I mean, this track is used up right now, and we know that these races are going to be longer in this season. You think you're ready for that? You think you're confident in your abilities without that mirror and with those used up tracks to be able to compete at the front end of this field?
I've actually always thought that I was better on slick than tacky. I can't really qualify on a tacky track, but when the race comes, I can kind of make my way through the field just with throttle control and everything. It's going to be interesting with the new changes.
Yeah, and you mentioned those new changes. I'm sure, you know, we drive them here. I mean, we know how the simulator has changed over the past year, per se, and, you know, maybe that's helped you out. Do you feel that that's something that has benefited you, or do you think that just the time with the simulator has given you that ability to get used to that?
Just seat time, it sounds kind of dumb because it's not a real life thing, but seat time on a sim is realistic because the more you run, the better you're going to get, the more you're going to know, especially each track, the bumps differ. So it's a huge thing knowing which bump is, how hard you can hit it, kind of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's a crucial part of any racing, no matter where you are. But Michael, we appreciate your time. We'll want to let you get back to focusing on that number 84 machine, that beautiful car that you're rolling right now. But thank you for coming on with us, and we're looking forward to getting to talk to you more throughout this season.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
And that is Michael Hackett, driver of the 84 car we see on your screen right here. I hand it back to Andrew Cardinale. He's going to bring in another guy. We're going to get to talk to more of our wonderful drivers here with the series.
And this is going to be one of the brand new drivers to the field as well, Joe. Somebody that we've never talked about before, but somebody that was, again, requested that we talk to here by Facebook. And this is Tyler. I'm going to try this here, Tyler. Bear with me. Tyler Joshimbowski. Is that about right?
Yeah, perfect. You got it right on.
All right, Tyler Joshimbowski, buddy, you're brand new to the field. We've never seen you before. Tell us about you.
Yeah, I run big blocks down at Orange County Fair Speedway. This is I got into iRacing a little under a year ago, and this is actually my first league. But I got a couple buddies in here who got me hooked up with it, and we'll see what we can do.
And that's one of the big highlights about the BRP iRacing series, something we always end up harkening back to, the fact that a lot of these guys are connected in some way. You guys are all a bunch of friends, and even if you aren't friends when you come in, you end up being friends after a couple of races. Seems like it's really just one big family. How is it getting used to that? Getting, well, obviously being brand new to that still.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually really excited to get into it and see what the season holds. I ran a couple of the tryouts, and we did pretty good. It's a pretty cool experience, so we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely really excited to see what to get into the action.
You're one of a couple of different 88 cars now. Corby Daniels, league owner, the Beef. He runs that 88. He's held it down for a while, but now you're kind of challenging him for that number. What's your expectations here for your first season with the series?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I'm looking, a couple top 10s. I don't really know what the level of these guys and how good I'm going to be compared to them, just because I've never done anything like this. So, we'll see where we end up in the points at the end of the season. I'll run every race and do as best as I can, but a couple maybe top 5s, top 10s, that would be pretty cool.
And a lot of these guys, they've got racing stories, racing backgrounds. What's yours? Do you have a real race car? Do you go racing? If not, what are your aspirations maybe?
Yeah, I like I said before, I run a big block down at Orange County Fair Speedway.
That's right. You did
down
say
in middle,
that. I'm
in middle. No, you're good. Down in Middletown, New York, in real life, I ran that all summer. Ran a couple of the Super Dirt Car Series shows. We just got a small block for the Eastern States weekend down at Middletown, and we ran pretty good there. But I've been pretty much into racing my whole life. I'd say around 16, I was racing a sprint car, and then we got into some modified racing like we do here on iRacing, and so that's kind of what brought me over to iRacing, because I saw that they added the big blocks and the small blocks, and so I thought it'd be pretty cool. I knew a bunch of my buddies were over here already on it, and so once they added these, I kind of added me right on.
Tyler, we've talked with a lot of these guys before. We kind of know who supports them, and we can see it on the cars as well. But who supports you? Who makes things happen, not only in the real world, but here on the iRacing.com sim?
Yeah, I got to thank Boyce Excavating. They came on this year, and they've been helping us out a ton. I also got Chuck Alessi from Chuck Alessi Plumbing and Heating. He's been a big help throughout my career, and then also Hollywood Towing and Auto and Interstate Batteries. They've been big help throughout my career, and I can't thank them enough.
There you have it, Tyler Josh Bowski, the new number 88 on the block, going to bring things right to Corby Daniels. And hey, buddy, you're sitting in the top 10 right now, just in front of Corby, in fact. So we'll see how you do this season. Can't wait to see how you do.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Tyler Josh Bowski, the other number 88. We're going to have to come up with a nickname for maybe that's a little more endearing, but that is the number 88 team. Joe Donahue has another driver for us.
Yeah, so we're going to see if we can pull in one of those guys who's got some real-world experience. Brian Berger, this is Joe Donahue with Pit Stop TV. You got me?
I got you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you, Brian. It's nice to see that number 60 car back out on track. Absolutely gorgeous, by the way. One of the great paint schemes of this series. Not to say there aren't a ton of great paint schemes in this series. There are, but yours is obviously one of the great ones as well. It's nice to see that car back out on track. Talk about, you had a pretty good summer. You had some time in the real world, and now we're, getting into those code months and we're getting back onto the simulator. But how did 2021 go for you in your own eyes?
I had a good year. I mean, we ran Lebanon Valley and Malta. Had a couple good runs in Malta, but really had a great season at Lebanon Valley. Missed the win a couple times. We finished actually second 4 times, so it was kind of heartbreaking. But I had a really good year, and now actually I'm looking forward to getting behind the wheel all winter long here on iRacing.
Hey, second place is getting a good couple second places shows consistency, and I think that's something that's really important in the real world, in iRacing, in the BRP iRacing series, and especially with tracks that get worn out like we have right here. You got a slick track right now. You got a lot of work to do to keep that car straight, and being able to be consistent is how you get a car around a track like that. You feel ready to go in that regard? Are you prepared to get behind this wheel at your computer and get at it with these slick tracks throughout the course of these longer races relatively this season compared to what we may be used to with the BRP iRacing series?
Oh yeah, definitely. Much slicker here than what I deal with on Saturday nights at the Valley, but I actually like it when it slicks up. I think it's I have a better chance to kind of roll the bottom and slowly move my way to the front. Last year at Lernerville was one of my best races, and I think I finished 4th at Lernerville, just rolling the bottom in the slick, and had a good time. So I'm looking forward to trying to get better with the throttle control. I'm actually one of the older guys, probably one of if not the oldest in the league, so I don't get behind the computer that often, but I'm trying to catch these guys that do this all the time.
Well, hey, you've got some good experience, and you've got obviously some practice, and you've got the rhythm down, so you should be able to put something good together. But you mentioned running the bottom at Lernerville. You're running the bottom right here. You're kind of sliding in and out of the bottom line in up right now. We're on board with you on the screen for everybody watching. But you talk about Lernerville. What are your expectations? You got a week's time before you're ready to go and get back in the saddle for a real race, and getting out there with everybody else. These guys, Jamie Porter, Travis Miller, these names that we're used to. How do you feel you're going to be setting yourself up for Lernerville? You looking forward to it? You think you're going to get a good result?
To it, no doubt, but for starters, you got to make the race. There's a lot of good guys here, and once you make the race, 117 laps is a long race, so I feel good about my chances the longer the race goes on. You know, we'll see where we are at the end. I think the other thing is there'll be lots of opportunities to go from the back to the front, you know, with you know, if there are accidents and things like that. So you know, can be patient, just stay on the lead lap, and then slowly make our way to the front. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and we've heard that from other drivers too. It's that patience game is a big part of what's going to be going on this season. But we're looking forward to seeing what you can do with this white and purple number 60, and we'll be looking forward to hopefully talking to you more throughout the season. We'll let you get more focused on this wheel. You're kind of getting up on the Hocket right now, so we'll let you get back to it. But we appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to seeing more from you as the season progresses, Brian.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And there you have the driver of the number 60 is Brian Berger. One of those names we're more used to around here, Andrew, but I'll hand the mic back to you. You got a name that's a little lesser known, and one of those new ones coming in.
Yeah, somebody we've never talked to before, never talked about before. I don't think we've said his name on air yet. Zachary Bardsley in the number 12, brand new to the BRP iRacing. Zachary, you got a copy?
Yep, I can hear you, buddy.
Hey, buddy, this is a great opportunity for us to talk to all the new drivers. You're one of them. I get used to these new faces, these brand new cars. How's it been so far? Obviously, coming through the tryout races and beating these guys, at least virtually, getting used to them on the iRacing tracks. And, well, now we get 2 hours to run this track in almost as far as you can. How's it been?
It's been good. The only tryout race I was able to make it to is the Lima Land one. I work as a delivery driver for Amazon, so it really depends on how my route goes. But I was able to make it to the one at Lima Land, and I finished second in my heat, and it was a lot of fun to race with them there. Yeah, this track is definitely a bit of a handful right now. It's not easy. The fixed setup doesn't tend to react well to a slick track, so you can connect the right front brake all you want and do whatever you want, but it still wants to spin every time you go into a corner. So it's a little bit of a handful, but it's a fun challenge, and it definitely helps you learn your throttle control.
Well, buddy, like I said, you're brand new to the series. We hadn't even said your name on air yet before I brought you in. At least I don't think. Maybe once or twice before. But you're brand new. What should we know about Zachary Bardsley? What do we need to know about this number 12 car?
It's nothing really to know about my car, but my family, the Lyman Racing, we've been racing modifieds up here in the northeast of the United States for nearly 50 years now. 1974, we bought our first car. So, I'll be running a throwback scheme to a car that Richie Tobias drove for us at Syracuse, and that'll be what I'll be running next week. But other than that, there's not really anything to know about me. I've only had this iRacing thing for 9 months now, so it's nice to make it into a competitive league like this, and hopefully I can just scrounge a top 10 here and there and maybe get lucky once or twice and get to talk to you guys again.
And this series definitely is competitive. This is only about a half sample size here. 23 of the 40 drivers signed up. How do you expect things to go as far as trying to make the show next week at Lernerville?
Lernerville's a track I enjoy, but it's a track I tend to enjoy with a custom setup. It'll definitely be interesting with the fixed setup. I don't spend a lot of time on the fixed setup stuff, but I like to run it every now and then because it's more down to the driver. But I'm looking forward to it. Lernerville's a fun track. I think my goal for next week is honestly just keep it on the track and keep the thing in one piece. It's really easy to, especially as the track slicks off, get into somebody and you completely junk the car, and then you're just, at that point, you might as well just pull off depending on how bad it is. So that's honestly my expectations next week. Just keep the car in one piece and make the feature.
Well, buddy, hopefully the car never gets to that point. Hopefully no damage for the number 11B, actually. It'll be once we get racing here. Best of luck to you next week at Lernerville. Cannot wait to see how you fare against all these guys. Really looking forward to it.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it too. Hopefully I can make it and my Amazon route doesn't be mean to me.
So Zachary Bardsley, I think maybe taking a van out there next week, that'll work.
I don't know. I don't think there'll be enough grip in those tires.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, it is front-wheel drive, right?
It'll be rear-wheel drive, actually, believe it or not.
Okay, all right. I see Amazon. All right, buddy.
But it is a Ford, so I don't think that's going to go so well.
All right, well, as Zachary Bardsley, thank you so much for your time here tonight. Can't wait to see how you do next week in virtual Pennsylvania.
Yeah, hometown for me.
Oh, really? Hometown, Sarver, Pennsylvania?
Well, not town, but home state, I guess.
Okay. So it's still a home race. All right. Good to know.
Yeah, we got some Pennsylvania guys in here.
Yeah,
there's
this Donahue guy, my co-commentator, yeah, he's from Pennsylvania, somewhere up there.
There's a Beer Hill Gang logo on my quarter panel.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, that's what I like to hear. Yes, hometown stuff.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, hey, thank you so much for the time here tonight, Zach. And again, looking forward to it, I guess, at your home track next week.
Yep, definitely.
Zachary Bardsley, the number 11 BD. Good to talk to him. Good to meet all these brand new faces. There's a few more out there. At least a few more. Well, I don't see too many more new faces. Who you got, though, Joe?
I think I can pull in a guy who we've seen before with the series. He took a little bit time away. Dan Siders, Joe Donahue, Pit Stop TV. You got me.
I got you, sir.
All right, Dan. Well, it's nice to see you back here, and we're getting ready to go for another wonderful season of action here with the BRP iRacing series. How was your time off in 2021 go? Whether you did you stay on the sim? Did you go out in the real world? What did you get to do with 2021, and how is it maybe going to set you up to be prepared or at least excited to get back behind the wheel in BRP iRacing series?
Yeah, I put some time in the sim, mostly doing 358 races in another league, and during the off season, I was out on the tow trucks out at the local racetracks at Maryville and Humberstone. So got to see a lot of these guys in person here and there, and it was a good summer overall.
Well, that sounds like a good time. I mean, anytime you get to a dirt track on the weekends is a good time, at least by my standards. I'm sure by yours too. So, you talk about getting back behind the wheel and getting out with all these guys. Some of these guys you haven't seen in a little while out on the track. You're getting reacclimated to them. Some of these guys are new. How does that throw kind of a wrench in what you know and how you got yourself set up to run in this series? You got some new drivers who obviously bring in some good talent, but you got to kind of get used to them. Is that kind of a learning curve for you?
Yeah, a little bit. Racing with the guys that I used to race with here, you kind of know where they're going to go and how they're going to run you. With new guys, you kind of got to feel them out, understand what lines they're going to run and how they're going to run the track. So yeah, it's a little bit of a curveball, but ultimately, if you give them room, usually they'll give you room, and it's usually a good time.
Yeah, and we actually were brought up to speed on your having no access to rearview mirrors. Maybe that might be something you personally have had in the past, but it changes sort of the dynamic here with the BRP iRacing series. So does that change the dynamic at all for you in this group of cars, or is that something you're already acclimated and used to with iRacing?
For me, I'm used to the mirrors, but running without the mirrors, I really enjoy it. Good headset, you can really tell where the cars are around you anyways. But I actually prefer without the mirrors. I find that you get a little bit more room, and guys give you a little bit more room too as they get used to running without them. But I'm a big fan of the no mirrors. I'm really glad to see that the guys went that way, and I really look forward to this season without the mirrors.
Absolutely, and you talk about that, and that's kind of going to change the objectives. And so what other sort of expectations do you have for yourself? What objectives do you have for the season that we, as commentators, viewers, everybody else can watch and see? What are the expectations that Dan Sider has set for himself for this season?
Ultimately, if I could run in the top 10 each week, I'd be happy with it. In the past, I've had problems with the slick tracks. I spent a lot of time working on slick tracks in order to try to get better with it. So ultimately, if I can finish in the top 10 each week, I'd be really happy with it.
Absolutely, that sounds like a great plan. And you got that line down pretty good right here. Your car looks pretty good, and you got a good outlook on things. So it seems like you're in good shape to go, my man. So thank you for coming on and talking to us here. Glad to have you back. Glad to see you, and we'll be hoping to get to talk more about the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, guys.
Absolutely. So there is the driver, Dan Sider, is a driver we're used to seeing in the past. He was one of those guys who drove an 84 back when we had 3 84 cars out on track at the same time. So nice to see him in a different number right there, but good outlook on things, Andrew, and that's really important. And we're kind of running out of there's a lot of people in this series, and we've hit a good bunch of them. See if we maybe talk to more of them or see what we want to do here with what we've got left.
There's two more that we want to talk to. One of those, and you can tell, the cars have kind of fallen off. These guys kind of getting to bed. I think it's starting to get that way for a lot of them. They got early alarm clock times, early alarms for the morning, and get work. I do got to say real quick, before we bring this next one in. Not going to lie, Joe. I stepped away a few moments. One of the interviews. Now, this is one of our more laid-back broadcasts. Most laid-back broadcast we've ever done here on Pit Stop TV. A chance to kind of kick back and talk with these drivers. I'm not going to lie. Went to the fridge, reached for a Lyman Kugel Summer Shandy. If ever you want to pander to me, that is how you do so. We had a Summer Shandy car. We got Nork iRacing series on this season. I know it's fall. We just had Halloween, but that doesn't mean it's out of season yet. I mean, come on. It's still good stuff. So, anyways, it's one of those kind of kickback, open a cold beer, have a good night. Another one of those drivers we want to talk to is somebody that we've never spoken with before, I don't think. Maybe once or twice ever on Pit Stop TV. It is now the 21... Hang on, let me double check. Be sure. 21, is it P? Yes, 21P for Pachalski, Tyler Pachalski. Tyler, we've not talked with you a whole lot here before on Pit Stop TV, but this is a good opportunity to do so. BRP iRacing Series Media Day, how you doing?
Good, yourself?
Pretty good. I think better than the right side of your car is after I kind of talked to you, distracted you there. How you doing, though? I mean, obviously the track is all kinds of torn up, and maybe a learning curve for Lernerville next week?
Yeah, I guess so. It's completely different than next week, but I mean, I kind of prefer it this way. Kind of takes that mash and the gas out of the gas out of it, and you kind of got to drive it a little bit more. So I seem to prefer it a little bit this way.
A lot of you guys have been multitasking this evening, running laps while we're talking to you. How many laps have you turned, do you think, so far, getting ready for this newest season of BRP iRacing Series competition?
Yeah, a whole bunch. You know, it just weren't very good last time, so I guess hopefully we can improve on that.
Well, 5 more and you're at 300 tonight. 300 tonight in this session alone. I don't know if you're going to get 5. Well, we'll see. We'll see as we're talking to you here. Might get 5 more before the time is up. But a lot of new partners with the series, a lot of new faces. How do you adjust for this season?
I guess I just hope that I can, keep her straight every week, and as long as you do that, I think you got a chance to be up front every week. As I lied to you as a runner in the fence here, but we'll just have some fun and see what happens.
And how did summer 2021 treat you?
It was all right. Wish we could have raced a little bit better. Weren't very good all summer, but that happened. So, recoup for next year and go at her again.
Well, hopefully we can see up there. I'm not going to lie, a little further north. Going to razz you a little bit. We get a chance to do so here while we're talking. A little further north there on the standings. I'm really looking forward to seeing this car higher up. This is a fantastic looking paint scheme, by the way. Is this an MDR paint scheme or somebody else?
No, yeah, Matt did it. And we're even potentially looking at making this our 2022 car in real life. So we'll see what happens.
All right. I'm glad I'm starting to be able to spot an MDR car from afar here. It's a great looking paint scheme. I like the black and gold. Looking great going fast as well. Very much looking forward to seeing how you do this season, buddy. Best of luck to you. We'll let you get back to jumping over these jumps as we hit 300 right there. Lap number 300 for Tyler Pachalski, buddy. Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Tyler Pachalski in the number 21. I had to talk to him. I had to talk to all of these guys. There's one more we want to talk to. One more driver we haven't talked with yet. And Joe, you kind of replaced him in a way. It's that Double D guy, Dylan Davidson.
Yeah, so we'll bring in Double D right here. Dylan, this is Joe Donahue with Pit Stop TV. Do you got me?
I got you. How you guys doing?
We are living the high life, my friend. We are happy to be back with BRP iRacing Series, and I'm sure you are too, getting out on track, getting some laps in with your old buddies. How do you feel about that?
It's a great time. I mean, I miss all these guys. They're a hoot to drive with. Great guys, and they're quick too. So it's always a good competition, especially on these dry tracks. These guys really know their throttle control.
That is absolutely true. That is 100% true. And these guys, I mean, they bring out good competition every week. But hey, you're part of that. I mean, you're one of those names we've talked about before, being a strong driver in this series. You think you have a good outlook going into this season. You've been hitting your marks pretty good in this session. And how do you feel now with this practice session under your belt with the rest of this field and what you're looking forward to the rest of what we have here?
I think we're looking towards a good season here. Put some money into the rig, so we got
new wheels and pedals. My old wheels and pedals were quite dated. So yeah, I'm feeling comfortable this season. We're looking for, top 5s, hopefully, top 10s preferably, somewhere up around there. Just have a good time this season.
Absolutely, and talk about that a little bit more for us. We'd love to hear sort of what was your upgrade and how does it make the cars run different? How do you feel iRacing differently now that you've upgraded your sim rig?
Well, it's a lot more reactive for sure. And the brake pedals, my old pedals, the brake pedals had no resistance, so it was just like a gas pedal. And now I can really feel the brake. The rig itself, it's a chair that hooks up to the pedals and the wheel, so I'm a lot more comfortable, not sitting in my my office chair anymore. Yeah, so feeling comfortable in the car, feeling comfortable with this season.
Well, that's awesome news, Dylan. We're glad to hear it, and this session's wrapping up right here, so we'll go ahead and let you get back to things. Sure, you're going to have a pretty good night to go for the rest of it, but glad to see you're out here, and hopefully you got some things out of this session and can bring it forward for Lernerville next week.
Thanks. Nice talking to you guys. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good, Dylan. And there he was, driver the number 73. The car on the outside, it's one of those testing liveries. It's a preseason livery on the outside of this machine. But you see him getting on it pretty good and wheeling that thing nicely. So, Andrew, it's been a pleasure to get all these guys in and kind of talk to everybody, see where we're at, see what changes have been made for setups, sim rigs, real cars, all that jazz. And that checker flag's waving, but this session may be over. The next one's going to be good and exciting, and I think it just gets your blood pumping a little bit, ready for this next season of racing.
And it does. You can see that the timer's run out. We're counting down to the last 2.5 minutes of overflow time. Scott Fritz officially leads the day. Fastest time of the day. Jamie Porter second. Travis Miller third. Let's go ahead and bring up the full results here. You can see Scott Fritz fastest, then Jamie Porter, Travis Miller, Michael Hackett fourth, Adam Hilton in fifth, Mike Evans, I think a stand in there for Ryan Susi, in the sixth position, Dan Sider in seventh, Tyler Joshimbowski in eighth, Corbin Daniels in ninth, and Brett Fisher 10th. That's your top 10 fastest times so far at Charlotte. Well, it's fastest times total at Charlotte for Media Day.
Yeah, there you go. Those guys got those good laps in at the start, obviously, but you look back through 11th through 20th, you got Brian Berger, Mike Wenner, guys who have raced with the series in the past that took a little time off. They're back. Matt DeRitter, we know him darn well. Tanner Correa had a great start to his career with BRP last season. He's ready to go again. David Petro got a good outlook on things here. Dylan Davidson, we just talked to him, same deal. In 16th, Jeff Sharp got 17th spot in the results for this practice session, with Gavin Eisel in 18th. Zach Bardsley in 19th, another Pennsylvania guy. That I liked hearing that. And Tyler Pachalski, who we just recently heard from as well, rounding out your top 20.
Back three cars, Dean Meitzler, Kyle Wendt, somebody we didn't get a chance to talk to, but one of the other new drivers, as well as Adam Ross. So a couple of new drivers kind of holding down the fort right there. 22nd, 23rd. Can't wait to see how everybody does in a week's time in virtual Sarver, Pennsylvania at the virtual Speedway. Really looking forward. Getting this show back on the road next week. Number one, of course, of the full season. We'll have a schedule and everything else out on social media very, very soon. The league already has it out, and actually, go ahead and pull it up. Joe, I do want to ask, while I do this, what are your, expectations? Who do you think is good? Maybe you think cools down a little bit? We didn't get a chance to look at the airfield. It's only about half, 23 of 40, but still, I think a pretty good sample size.
Yeah, and I think that it's going to show next week. I think that this practice session, maybe it's not the same track, maybe it worked in a little differently, but who showed up here, you're going to know they've had a week of practice with everybody else on the track. They've gotten acclimated to the tracks getting worn out, what's like we expect to see with these longer races. But I mean, you talk about drivers who are good. Talk about Travis Miller, winning lots of races, Jamie Porter, even Maxime Plant, who we didn't see tonight, another great name from winning lots of races in the past. And I think if you look through the rest of the field, you see names that we're used to seeing who do exceptionally well. Maybe they don't have as many wins as, say, Travis Miller and Maxime Plant, but, we talked about Gavin Eisel in the past. Ryan Susi, we talked to him tonight. And then we got down to Tanner Correa, and I think Tanner Correa, Michael Hackett, I think those guys are going to be able to get back up on the cash money behind the wheel and get some good finishes out of this season. I think this season we're going to see new winners. I would make that prediction now, happily, that we're going to be seeing some first-time winners with this series, and I think the longevity of these races is going to play into the really great racing. But I mean, it's hard to pick names of who you think are going to be the top guys because there's so many good guys. But you know, you talk about Travis Miller, you talk about Ryan Susi, Jamie Porter, Tanner Correa, Adam Hilton had great finishes. I mean, there's names like that I think we could see kind of rising to the top throughout the season, being consistent. That's going to be the really big key, is the consistency for this season.
Certainly a lot to talk about, a lot to look forward to this season. I don't even want to try and top what Joe just said. A lot of great points there. What I do want to do is read out the schedule as it stands. Pete Costco Memorial makes up next week. 117 laps at Lernerville Speedway. November 8th, it's going to be a fun one. Then we go to Volusia down in Florida. 60 laps there at Volusia. 100 laps, however, at Lima Land. And then we get right around Thanksgiving with Lima Land, and then Weedsport, 70 laps up in New York at Weedsport. Fantastic tracks, I think, to start the season off. Lima Land going to be a little bit treacherous, let's be honest there. Weedsport going to be interesting at 70 laps, kind of a proper big block track. Knoxville checks in December 6th, 50 laps at Knoxville, Iowa. Cedar Lake, 70 laps at Cedar Lake, Wisconsin. You've got the USA International Speedway down in Lakeland, Florida. 50 laps at USA. 100 laps, though, at Kokomo for the MDR. No, sorry, that's Evolution. Never mind. 2 races of Evolution. Interesting. Kokomo, though, right at Christmas time, December 27th. 100 laps there. Then it's the MDR Design 60 at Volusia, January 3rd. 60 laps there again. And I will say, Volusia has been the best racing with this series time and time again. Multiple seasons. We've had the best racing ever in the BRP iRacing series at Volusia. Great move, I think, by the series. January 10th, it's the Lanier Raceplex, 70 laps out of Braselton, Georgia, just across the street from Road Atlanta. Then, January 17th, gonna be a fun one. Bristol, 60 laps, makes its return. Gonna be interesting there. We'll leave it interesting, I think. Got Creative turning 60 at Bristol. That's fun. Of course, January 24th, we got Fairbury making its return to the schedule. 100 laps at Fairbury. Then Eldora on January 31st. And one last race, February 7th, championship night, right back here at Charlotte. 70 laps. So this is actually a great chance for these guys to get ready for that race in particular. So far out, that way down there, February 7th, but still a good chance to get warmed up, I think.
Absolutely, and I just, you look through that schedule and there's so much variety. There's so many great tracks, and even though, there's only so many tracks in the sim and there's more to be added, we have a really great pool of options, and we have a really great pool of drivers, and they're going to be able to take advantage every week. You talk about what's the difference between USA, Lanier, Cedar Lake, Volusia. I mean, they're just completely different animals, but being able to have that variety in the schedule, having such good drivers, and just in general being able to be back with everybody and have them all come back out on the tracks again on these Monday nights, it's going to be great. Honestly, stoked. Honestly, I'm so excited, just grateful to be back, and grateful to have everybody in the series with us, and just be able to go to all these tracks in the first place is an honor. And it's going to be a really great time. Really looking forward to having all of these guys, who a lot of them are used to these big blocks more than, say, some of the other dirt cars in the sim. Have them back in that car and getting at it on the docket once again.
Grateful to have had so many drivers in this session tonight. So grateful to have had so many of you watching along tonight. Really do appreciate it. It really makes this Media Day idea worth it, which is really, really big, I think, to show us and the iRacing series and other series. This is a really cool idea. It was so fun to sit down and just talk with drivers. No racing really to have to worry about. No competition to have. Talk with drivers. That was really special. So, really big shout out to everybody tuning in this afternoon. Checking in with us here at Pit Stop TV, the BRP iRacing. Big shout out goes to all of the partners along with the series. You see them there, left side of your screen. Big No Racing Products, MDR Designs, Jam Performance, Lindy, and earnings, and of course our partners here at Pit Stop TV. Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV at checkout, 10% off of your order when you do so. And hey, Black Friday's coming up. A great time to go ahead and get some gifts from TucsonSoundArt.com. Make sure to do so today. Fantastic products over there, as well as some fantastic options for you up at Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine. In the great state of Maine, go to permanentmakeupinmaine.com for more information. And Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV. Go to Whiplash Media on Facebook for a bit more information there and to order your eyebrow today. And let's, of course, not forget BAM Racing Videos, especially. We've got Dirt back on the channel. BAM Racing Videos fits right in. A lot of great content on the BAM Racing Videos Facebook and pages and channels. And hey, he just recently topped 1 million total views. That, in and of itself, pretty darn incredible. Joe, got a lot of broadcasts coming up here on the iRacing.com platform, specifically, obviously, Pit.tv. A lot of great racing to talk about. Wednesday night, it's Kentucky Speedway for the Outlaws Sim Series, race 2 of their playoffs. And I gotta be honest, I was along for the ride for Iowa Speedway a couple of weeks ago. It was their cutoff race. I ended up kind of helping out with Emerson and Devin for that one, and I was never quite ready for the amount of turns that were taken in the strategy battle throughout the course of that race. There was so much to talk about the entire time, and there was only one caution. It wasn't like it was caution riddled to force tire changes and things like that. One yellow way back on lap 5 or 3 or something. It was so hard to recall because it happened so early, then there was so much to happen after it. These guys put on great racing, open setup trucks at some of the best courses in all of the United States, be it oval or road alike. I believe even a dirt racing there at Bristol. A lot of great stuff, a lot of great reasons to tune into the Outlaws Sim Series, 7:30 Eastern, they get things going. And Joe, that is a must watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, open setup changes the whole dynamic, and it's going to be really great to see those guys. And I know that is one of the greatest that there is. I mean, that's one of the greatest things we've got going right now, too, to talk about drivers and strategy and who's working on that team. And that they are very professional with what they do, and they want to get a good result. They want to make good content, and they do that. And that's just something very important here, there, anywhere. Really great stuff.
Thursday, Friday, the MSRA Truck Series and National Series Championship races for those two. Phoenix Raceway just got updated on the iRacing.com. There you can see the fantastic glow-up cactus that lets you know what flag it is, in case you couldn't tell. Yeah, lights up green for green flag, yellow for yellow flag. Great addition to the Speedway, as well as everything else they did to the actual track and how it races now, all of that. But I just like the glow-up cactus. Anyways, 2 more open setup races on the week, 8:15 Eastern for both of them. Thursday and Friday, Truck Series Championship coming down to it. Both of these Final Four is just like the NASCAR playoffs. I mean, I don't know. I just added a 4th monitor to my setup, and it changes things so. As we do it or at multitasking. I don't know if anybody has kind of a broadcast outcomes. Multitasking is a big part of it. Point standings for those series, though. Chris Noble, John Bender, Alan Dobbs, Matt Dyer. They come in as your championship 4 for the Truck Series. And for the National Series, NASCAR Xfinity Cars, it's David Santini, Tommy Gossett, Kenny Meadows, and Jeffrey Meyer. They, of course, all reset to 4,000, all reset back even with one another. It's a matter of who finishes on top. Final Four. Joe, there's a lot of places, well, a lot of kind of jumped the gun. A lot of great races to watch and a lot of great places to see updates about them. Here's a bit about it.
Yeah, so here at Pit Stop TV, we want to spread the depth of our social media coverage to everybody and anybody. So there's platforms. Facebook, go search up Pit Stop TV on Facebook, and you can get streams, you can get information, you can talk to other people there. You can go to Twitter, get live updates through our which is at pitstoptv_, and you can get just live updates, pictures, and things throughout racing events. Go to Instagram. Our Instagram tag is pit_stop_TV. Pretty easy to search up as well, and that's another really great place to get visuals, pictures. Obviously, that's what Instagram is for. And then obviously here with YouTube is where we can stream ourselves and get everybody up. You can search up Pit Stop TV. You can go straight through the link, youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1, and get right on the docket to see these great broadcasts live here and get in those live chats, talk to us, talk to other people watching the shows, and interact with everybody here. It's it's kind of a family environment. It's an atmosphere where people are accepted to come in, have good conversations, cheer on their favorite drivers, and just kind of take the load off, have a good night. And that's what we try to do here. And we're happy to be a part of it with everybody who races, watches, and takes part in these series.
Once again, so glad everybody joined us for this one. This was a lot of fun. Talk to drivers, getting to talk about the season, and all of the reasons to tune in later on this season. Again, season starts next week, November 8th, a week from tonight. In fact, we're less than 7 days away now. The clock is ticking somewhere around 6 days and 23 hours, 22 hours, something like that. So we have Big Block Modifieds back on track, 4 points in the BRP iRacing series. Time is a ticking. These drivers know it. They're getting ready for their next racing. Boy, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. They left their mark certainly on the dirt track at Charlotte, at least virtually this evening. They'll be doing so the rest of this weekend as well. I know a lot of these guys are heading down to Charlotte quickly, and they'll be in this neck of the woods getting ready to watch some good racing this weekend. Again, if you want to get updated, keep updated on the World Finals this weekend. I know a lot of you guys watching, you are very interested in that. Well, make sure to check out pitrow.tv. Later this week, in fact, Wednesday night, it's a free preview show for the World of Outlaws World Finals at the dirt track at Charlotte. That's right, a free preview show. Usually it's a $25, thereabouts, $24.95, I believe, dollar subscription to pitrow.tv. And yes, you get a lot of great racing content and everything that's ever been broadcasted to pitrow.tv before, but this is free. Big. The fact that you get to check in with the show, put on by PRN, and let it be for free on pitrow.tv. That is really, really cool. So, again, make sure to do that. Get updated with everything going on for the World Finals this week at this very dirt track. Kind of a neat opportunity to talk about it there and help out my good friend Lenny Baticki. But hey, that's it. That's Media Day done and dusted. That means the next time we're talking about BRP drivers, it's for the race. And I think I like that a whole. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, joining us this evening for BRP iRacing Series Media Day. So many great people made this happen. I want to thank each in and of themselves. As far as the Pit Stop TV crew this evening, it was Joe Donahue alongside Emerson Arden on social media. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you so much again for watching. We will see you next time. Hopefully it's Wednesday, the Outlaws Sim Series at Kentucky.